Hello and welcome to a special bonus episode of What I Think I Know with your host, Dan Brigantino. Today's special edition, we're talking about the ICE incident, of course. I haven't seen something blow up quite this large since Charlie Kirk, and I think they're kind of somewhat related. We'll get to that in a little bit. A quick overview of what happened, and I'll show some videos and whatnot in a minute. But a quick overview, there was an ICE raid or whatever going on, and a woman saw it, was recording it, and she called her wife and said, "You got to get down here." And they organized a bunch of cars, and they came down in a big convoy. She blocked the road. Witnesses say, well, I'll show you in a bit. Witnesses say, well, I'll just put it right here. Here's the witness.
Because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her, but she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there. Yeah.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely, yeah. Okay. That was her.
See, she did exactly what she was trying to do. The video we all saw at first kind of looks like the lady's trying to make a U-turn. I mean, she ends up going the other direction, so clearly it wasn't a U-turn. But essentially, we have woman spots ICE activity, alerts her wife to come down and assist blocking ICE. A few officers kind of go by. They're like, whatever, we're getting out of here. Maybe they had the perp in the car with them. And a couple other ICE officers got out and said, "Hey, lady, get out of the car. You're coming with us. Get out of the car." Yes, they do have jurisdiction over citizens when they are committing felonies and things, especially obstructing the ICE job. So there's no issue with them arresting a citizen. That's not a problem. Anywho, we all know what happens next. I do have an interesting clip that I don't think anybody's seen before, and I'll show you that right now. A third angle, you can see the ICE officer, and it looks like one civilian, but the ICE officer, you could see him, he's just walking from his car to the other car and goes right in front of the car, the woman's car, right as she takes off. So, boom goes the dynamite there. Definitive proof, absolutely no way he could have kind of judged like, oh, I think she's going to drive forward. I'll go jump in front of her car. Anyway, she did hit him. There was contact between his body and the vehicle. Fun fact, and I'll show you another clip, but this same officer was 6 months ago dragged by another illegal immigrant. Now I say another, it's not technically another, but he was dragged like 300 yards down a street. He had to get, I think, 33 stitches. Mostly in one arm, all down this area. If I could find a picture of that, I'll show you. Actually, I think that picture is in the clip, but I'm putting the clip in post, so I didn't know that when I aired the clip, when I showed the clip. Whatever.
This home security video shows a driver taking off during a traffic stop, dragging a deportation officer with him. New at 10, WCCO's Uba Ali walks us through this video and the political firestorm behind it.
What began as a planned federal immigration arrest took a violent turn in this quiet Bloomington neighborhood. And it was all caught on camera. According to a federal complaint, agents were executing a warrant for 39-year-old Roberto Carlos Munoz. They say Munoz entered the country unlawfully, and he also pled guilty to fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct back in 2023 for abusing a minor. Tuesday morning, agents pulled him over. Court documents say he repeatedly refused to comply before a federal agent took out his spring-loaded window punch with his right hand and broke the driver's side rear window. These images show the officer's hand in the vehicle. In this video, you can see the driver take off with the agent hanging from the car, dragging him 300 feet through front yards. These graphic images show the aftermath. A bloody agent who needed 33 stitches for his significant cuts. And now a political battle with a top Homeland Security official criticizing Governor Tim Walz, posting on X, instead of comparing ICE law enforcement to the Gestapo, Walz should be thanking our brave law enforcement. The Department of Justice says a request for Munoz to be held after that 2022 arrest was, quote, not honored by local authorities, and Munoz was released.
And to get the other two angles that I know about, here is an unbelievable bit of footage from, what was it, NBC? Yeah, NBC. They haven't been non-biased in many, many years, but here's some non-biased news from them, and you'll get to see the other two clips as well.
This vehicle was blocking the federal agents right there.
That's right, Tom. And a big caveat, we don't know what happened before this, but they're definitely going to look at the fact this is an unmarked vehicle, but the lights are on. These are clearly members of law enforcement. So that's at least known to this driver.
Let's play the video because something else happens right here. Those officers approach the vehicle. They try to open the door. Let's stop it here. How will this help the investigators?
Whatever is said here, what these officers say, if the driver said anything or not, could really help them understand whether or not they thought there was some sort of an imminent threat. Was this person trying to listen to them? Were they scared? Or is this going to be a problem?
And then, of course, what the driver does next. Let's play that video. Trying to leave there. One of the officers felt like they were forced to fire, and they do. We want to show another angle, reverse angle of the same incident here. We're going to freeze it. This is that same angle here. And what does this show us, Tom?
Well, this appears to show an officer right in front of the vehicle. That and between the way that the vehicle was moving and the timeline of that, how was the officer responding in that split second going to be critical for investigators.
Finally, one more piece of evidence we want to talk about here, and it is the bullet hole in the front of the windshield. What will this tell investigators?
Well, you look at this, you look at ballistics, you look at witness statements, you look at other video, all going to be part of this investigation.
J.D. Vance came out and gave a kind of press briefing. He did a wonderful job. Here's a little clip from that.
Somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers.
And I think he hasn't been the hero. I wasn't going to do a hero of the week on this episode, but I think our hero of the week must be Sheriff Grady Judd. Sheriff, I would love to share a beer with you. Here is a clip from him just talking about what happened.
Let me make one thing abundantly clear. You have to be accountable for your conduct. And that starts with the mayor. Did you hear his filthy talk? Did you hear his filthy, uninformed talk yesterday to the people not only of the city and the state, but across the nation? Shame on you. That's lack of professionalism. Now let's look at the event. The investigation's not complete. I am giving you context on the video clip that I saw. Law enforcement officers, federal law enforcement officers, ICE agents, were trying to take the occupant of the car out of the vehicle. During this encounter, the vehicle backed up and then drove directly at the ICE agent. That is a deadly weapon, a 2-ton deadly weapon. So what did the occupant expect? They should have expected to be shot when you commit a deadly assault on a law enforcement officer. So let's do this. Let's send out the message loud and clear. And it should start with the mayor, the police chief, the local sheriff, and the governor of Minnesota. Cooperate with law enforcement officers. Don't resist them. Don't violently resist them. If you do violently resist them, if you do felonious assaults with 2-ton weapons, expect to be shot.
Yeah, it's disgusting. He's talking about Tim Walz came out and basically declared war on federal agents. Okay. After all that fraud and whatnot came out, you'd think he would kind of sit back on one of these things. But no, he's still just doing his thing, nailed into his idiocy, and so are all the other liberals. Yeah, it wasn't murder. I'm sorry, guys. I know you really, really wanted it to be murder, but it wasn't. It just wasn't. This was a perfectly justified killing. Now, do I wish that it didn't happen? Absolutely. I wish that it did not happen. This woman apparently she had 3 kids, I believe. I think she was like going through a divorce and also somehow married to a woman. Not really sure how all that worked. She must have been divorced already. But yeah, she had 3 children, and now those 3 children grow up. I believe the father's dead as well. So they have to grow up without parents at all. And it was all because this woman, whether she was coerced by her wife or not, she made the poor decision of, first off, just going to the ICE operation. That in itself was a bad idea. And then to top it off, the whole running from the police and hitting an officer. That was the real big mistake. She could have just gotten out of the car when the police asked her to. By the way, in the clip I showed from NBC, the very first clip, if you go up and look the original up, you can actually hear the ICE officers as they step out of their car. They're yelling at her, "Get out of the car." And that's a lawful order right there. Always follow a lawful order. Thanks for telling us that, Grady. So she made all these mistakes on her own. It's a terrible, terrible shame that this happened to her. I will pray for her family. But yeah, she made the decision. She did the wrong, and she paid the toll for that. The wife came out, and I haven't actually looked up a video of this. I just read the transcript, essentially, or part of the transcript. But she came out and said she's very sad and that it was her fault, basically. And definitely, that was absolutely her fault, 100%. You should have just left things alone. You should have gone, "Hey, look, ICE doing an operation. Cool, I'm on my way." They're not disappearing people. They're not kidnapping people. They're not unknown masked agents. They wear masks because liberals dox people and then show up at their houses and try to kill them. I kind of alluded to this being related to Charlie Kirk. You guys celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. You celebrated the healthcare CEO when Luigi Mangione shot him in the back of the head. You celebrate death all the time. I actually saw a post from a liberal saying that Republicans are not humans. okay, thank you. I still think you're a human. I think you're wrong and you've been brainwashed. I don't even really think you're stupid. I think you're kind of trying your best, but you're getting your information from all the wrong places. But you're a damn human. And I hope nothing ever happens to you. Nothing negative ever happens to you. I hope all sorts of stuff happens to you. There's really cool stuff that could happen. And that goes for every liberal on earth. I don't want harm to befall you. Even Maduro, we just captured him. I don't want harm to befall him. I think he needs to serve his punishment, and his punishment might just be death. Killing hundreds of millions of American youths, that's might be worth the death penalty. I'm not sure. I'm not a judge. Anyway, to kind of sum it all up, woman sees ICE operation, calls wife to obstruct their justice, meaning pull her car in front of everybody and jam the whole street up. ICE officers get out to confront her and ask her to remove herself from the vehicle, and she doesn't. Instead, she reverses to get a better angle, which is clear proof that she was not flipping a U. She was just obstructing. So she reverses to get a better angle to go forward and to the right. The officer unknowingly walks in front of the car, then realizes what's happened. That's clear on the first video I showed you there. And, does what he thinks is the right thing to do in an instant. Not really a whole lot of time to go, well, I got to do the math here. Okay, if I shoot her, this could happen. If I don't, she could do this, yada, yada, yada. And then everybody gets up in arms. I think the only view you can realistically have, well, I guess a sane person can have on this event is justified. Unfortunate as fuck, but justified. That's pretty much the whole situation. You've seen the three angles that I know about. If there are any, I'm sure I'll show them on the next episode or something like that. That's about all I got for you. Except for one little extra bit. Here's a piece from Mamdani. Completely unrelated, but important. And I'll probably even put this in the next episode as well.
We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown here. And don't let Muslims spread their ideology. Do not run from cops. Just comply. Had she just complied, even after making all those bad decisions, had she just complied, she would still be alive. She might have spent the night in jail, but honestly, probably not. And maybe I'll bring this up on the next episode again. I kind of forgot to do all this, but I've seen so many videos of people doing exactly what she's doing with their vehicles, and they just basically get let go. Now, most of the time, these officers are not on foot. They're in their own vehicles, and they're just trying to get out of there. Maybe if they had been arrested, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe they would have learned their lesson. Probably not, because they're pretty hard-headed. I even saw one. If I can't find the video, I'll say it now. I saw a video where a lady was chased down by ICE. She was doing all these illegal maneuvers, running red lights, flipping U's where you definitely can't be flipping U's. And she ended up kind of getting stopped. I think she kind of got stuck in a point where there was traffic coming this way. She was trying to do a U-turn but couldn't. And the officer it was a nice officer, and he just scolded her and said, what are you doing? You got a family. You got kids at home. Be smarter than this. What in God's name is wrong with you? Why would you ever think that this is okay to do? And then he lets her go, as I think he should. But again, had she been arrested and that news got out, it might have prevented this. What are you going to do? Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little short video here. God bless you. God bless this big, beautiful rock we live on. God bless that woman and her family. I hope she is in Jesus' arms right now. And I hope the family can cope in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next week.